Jackson Radio Show.
I don't like the DACA part. I mean, I don't like the amnesty part. I don't believe we owe them anything, They seem to believe just because they were brought over that makes them a child of God, The guy that murdered my son was brought over at 3 years old. He didn't stay 3 years old.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. That was Jamil Shaw Sr., and he's talking about the death of his son, Jamil Shaw, a promising young athlete killed by an illegal, and as he's made pretty clear, an illegal who was brought over here under the DACA program, made a DACA person, and everybody thought, oh, they're so great, they're just under the law, they're good kids, and all they want is a chance. Yeah, well, not all of them. So here, let's finish that clip because I think it's powerful to hear Jamil Shaw. I've seen him in multiple events, and it's important to understand his side of the story.
He had 3 gun charges. His last one was assault with a deadly weapon, battery on a peace officer, and then they only gave him 8 months in the county jail, let him out 4 months early. The same day he got out, he was back to murdering. So just because you were brought over and, and then they say you're, the sins of the father on the kids. But what about the mom and dad? They bringing the kids over illegal. They're illegal. Nobody gets in trouble. And our family members are dead, and when we complain, we're racist.
Wow, that was powerful testimony. Powerful. He's so right, too. And this is a brother. This, not that it should make a difference, but I'm just saying, when you look at black folks should be the most outraged. Not going to get in all the reasons because you already know them. But I want to get to this Hilario Yanez story in just a bit, but before we get to that, I really do want this part about these people, these dreamers that are threatening to leave the country. Have you heard about these guys? Threatening to leave the country if DACA's not passed. And go where? Where are you going to go? Yeah. Dreamers who are illegally in the country, threatening to leave the country if no deal is made to keep them here. Let that sink in. I mean, these are not the brightest bulbs in the box here. Where are you going to go? Michelle Malkin has this to say back in September in a Fox Business interview, and it's more relevant now than it was even then. She says the fact is that if there were a single deserving dreamer in this country, they would be deserving because they would acknowledge that they are owed nothing and that they deserve nothing from a country into which they were born because of their parents' illegal activity. Then they weren't born here. They were brought here, is what I think she meant to say. She went on to say this: you can talk to anyone who's come into the country the right and proper way, including my own parents. There are many first and second generation Americans who understand that citizenship is a privilege, not a right. And when you have an entire class of 800,000 people who feel entitled to be here, despite the law, you're creating the very trouble we're in now. Michelle Malkin, my good friend, is 1,000% right. These kids that go and march, carry their Mexican flags in LA and all over the country, wherever they are, and don't understand that, we get it. Many of us get it. For those who haven't gotten it, I would venture to tell you Donald Trump's done a pretty good job of making you understand, you know what, these are not circumstances that these kids brought on to themselves. It would be different if they had done it. To go after their parents is certainly a viable thing to do. But the idea that you have to look at these kids and say they're criminals, no, they're not. They are victims of their circumstances. And nobody's explaining that better than Donald Trump. Until I heard this kid, Hilario Yanez. This kid has it together. And I want to play the clip of him on Fox News, Fox and Friends the other morning. And I was going to cover this the other day when I saw his interview, and I said, this kid deserves more time, because what he said is a lot more poignant than you'll glean out of an interview like that. So let's play the clip, and then I'll talk about it.
Who was brought to the United States from Mexico when he was only 1 year old, and he joins us now. Welcome, Hilario. So,
good morning. How's it going?
Good morning. So tell us what you like about the president's plan.
Well, let me begin by first thanking Donald Trump for his leadership, his compassion, and also the courage to take on this issue. At the end of the day, here's a guy who wants to provide a pathway to citizenship for myself and really, make a difference in my life. So for that, I'm for that. I believe we need to have border security so this doesn't happen again. That's very important. And if a wall is necessary to add an extra layer for Border Patrol to do their job in a safe and responsible manner, then, I think it's necessary to fund it. The last couple of points is the diversity lottery. I think it's outdated. I think it's time for people who want to come to the United States for us to focus on skills so that they can contribute to the American economy right away. At the very end, the Republicans are in a unique position to really lead on this and really provide immigration reform that's long overdue.
Hilario, what do you make of the way Democrats have postured on this then? Talking about dreamers, saying they're their advocates, but ultimately tying it to budget gimmicks and floor speeches.
Look, so, 3 points that I want to make about that. Number one, the Democratic leadership, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, really have no clear message, we have been confused. I think at the end of the day, they've been using us as pawns. The second point that I want to bring is that they should have never shut down the government over DACA. We should have never held our American people and our military hostage. There's plenty of time on the table to fix this. March 5th is the deadline, and you can see Republicans already willing to do something about it as we speak. And the last point that I want to say is that, look, Democrats, they own all three branches of the government back in 2008 to 2011, and they still chose to do anything. So at this point, I'm quite frustrated with the Democratic leadership, what they've done.
Holy smokes, right? Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. Hilario Yanez, don't be surprised if this kid goes rocketing through the Republican Party. Don't be surprised if he becomes a solid advocate of Republican values, conservative values, and stuff like that. And by the way, I got another clip we'll play for him. We're not going to do it this section because I want to discuss what he talked about. The first thing this kid did was to thank Trump for his leadership, compassion, and courage. Wow. Goosebumps. Then he went on to talk about the Trump policies that were going to stop people like him from having to have that fear, come to this country legally. So he says, border wall, border security, get a wall, protect the Border Patrol agents, get rid of the diversity lotto. He says it was outdated. He says we should focus on skills that will let people contribute right away. But what he said that was the most important part of this whole thing, Republicans are in a unique position. Think about this. The Republicans have the ability to steal something from the Democrats, something that the Democrats don't want for the right reasons. This kid understands that. The Democrats, he said, have no clear message. And in fact, they're confusing dreamers. They're making, it was the push and pull. We're going to get you here. No, we're not. We're going to get you here. No, we're not. These kids wanting to come out of the shadows, wanting to live the American dream, and being used as pawns. And that was his words. Then he goes on to say this. The Democrats shouldn't have used us as pawns to shut down the government, which builds animosity to the taxpayers. Now, he didn't say that. He says they shouldn't hold the taxpayers hostage, using us as the pawns, using us as the fuel. They're pitting the American people against us, and all we want is to come out of the shadows and be legit. And he got it. And then when he says, if they'd wanted to get this accomplished, and this is, let me tell you, I don't know how many Latinos or other kids are going through this, or if they feel this way, but this kid got it. And he says, if they'd wanted to get it done, they had all three branches of government, and they did nothing. All they've done is frustrate us. Back to the Republicans. He recognizes the Republicans have offered to do this. They want to do it. See, that was the dirty little secret. In the past, everybody would pretend to want to do it and do nothing. because it was a convenient little thing to kick the can down the road here. Everybody now knows Trump will get it done, period. And you can't, there's no more hostage holding of the American people or Donald Trump on it. I saw one cartoon where they had Chuck Schumer painting the floor black as he was painting himself into a corner. And I thought, and it said DACA in the corner. And it was so true. It was so fitting. Well, it's exactly what's happened. The Mexican kids know Republicans want to legalize you. Why are you marching against Donald Trump? Why are you afraid of Donald Trump? He has said, I don't want to legalize 800,000 of you. I'll legalize the 1.6 million of you or 1.8 million who are hiding in the shadows. I'll legalize all of you. But here's what we're going to get. And these kids that are here are going, God bless this man. We got more in a minute.
Kevin Jackson on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.